I never thought I'd have cops pointing flashlights at me on the porch of my own house, but that's exactly what happened. All because I told the HOA president I'm not under your authority. She didn't know the truth that I didn't just own that house. I owned the whole damn block. It started like any other Tuesday, which if you ask me is the most suspicious day of the week. I'd finally decided to move a few personal things into the corner house on Maple and Crestwood. Not because I planned to live there full-time, but because it was the flagship property of my new project, the one I'd spent 2 years quietly buying up piece by piece. 12 houses, 1 block. My company, Thorn Development, owned every single one. That block used to belong to Crestwood Meadows HOA. 3 words that could strike fear into any homeowner. Beige houses matching mailboxes, grass trimmed within an inch of its life, and God forbid your kid's bike touch the sidewalk. My goal was simple. Dissolve the HOA, restore some character, bring back life to the place my grandfather once called the soul of the old neighborhood. So that morning, I wore my gray suit straight from a meeting, stopped for 2 pizzas, and headed to the house. The sun was out, the air was warm, and for the first time in weeks I felt good. Then I saw her marching across the lawn like a storm front in human form. She was built like a refrigerator in white slacks and a matching blouse, clutching a clipboard like it was a holy relic. Her name, I'd soon learn, was Carol Ann Higgins, HOA. President, self-appointed guardian of property values and professional busybody. She stopped at the edge of the lawn as if stepping 1 inch further might contaminate her shoes. "Can I help you?" she barked. It wasn't a question. I smiled politely. "Don't think so, just waiting on a delivery." For whom she shot back. "This property's vacant. The Hendersons moved out last week." "I'm aware," I said, still smiling. "The delivery's for me." That's when the pizza guy showed up, bless his noisy little Honda Civic, handed me 2 steaming boxes and drove off. I thanked him, turned around, and caught Carol Ann staring at me like I'd just robbed the place. "You can't eat here," she said flatly. I blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" "This is a violation of Crestwood Meadows bylaw, 17 subsection C. No loitering or picnicking on the front-facing property of a vacant residence. It lowers curb appeal." I laughed. Couldn't help it. "Ma'am, I'm not loitering. I'm standing on my own porch. I'm the new owner." That word, owner, seemed to short-circuit her brain. Her eyes flicked over me, the suit, the skin, the pizza boxes. And I saw it hit her, the disbelief, the prejudice. "That's not possible," she snapped. "I'm notified of all property sales." "Well," I said, my smile fading, "you must have missed one." She puffed up like an offended swan. "I am Carol Ann Higgins, president of this HOA, and I can assure you this property was not sold to you. I dealt with people like her my whole life, the kind who mistake arrogance for authority. So I took a breath, tried to stay calm. There must be a mistake in your paperwork, ma'am, because I can assure you I bought this house and the one next to it and the one after that." Her mouth twisted. "You're a liar. Probably a squatter. I'm calling the police." And that's when I made my fatal mistake. I chuckled. Just a small one. I couldn't believe she was serious. But to her, that laugh was an act of war. She jabbed a manicured finger at me. "You are trespassing, and I'm ordering you to vacate immediately." "Carol," I said, setting the pizzas down, my patience gone. "You can't order me to do anything. You have no authority here." And then I said it. The sentence that set off the entire chain reaction. "I'm not under your HOA." It was like I'd slapped her across the face. She froze. Then her eyes went cold. "You've made a very big mistake," she said, pulling out her phone. "Yes, 911. I'd like to report a man being aggressive and trespassing on private property." My stomach dropped. In the span of a breath, a peaceful afternoon turned into a nightmare. I could hear my mother's voice in my head, that talk every black parent gives their son. "Keep your hands visible. Don't move suddenly. Survive the encounter." So I stood still on my own porch pizza, cooling beside me while she painted me as a threat. The sound of sirens grew louder, closer. The neighbors peeked through blinds. Curtains twitched. The whole street became an audience. 2 cruisers screeched up. Doors opened. Lights flashing red and blue across the beige walls. Carol Ann practically ran to meet them. "Officers, thank God he's refusing to leave. He threatened me." The older cop, Davies, I later learned, looked skeptical. The younger one, Schmidt, already had his hand near his weapon. Sir Schmidt barked, stepped down from the porch. Hands where I can see them. I did as told, slow and careful heart hammering. Of course, officer. My name is Marcus Thorne. I own this property. President says it's vacant, Schmidt said. You got ID? Yes, sir. It's in my inside pocket. May I reach for it? He nodded stiffly. I handed it over. Davies looked at the license, then back at me. This doesn't prove ownership. I understand. My briefcase is in that black Lexus. The deed's inside. Carol Ann scoffed behind him. Don't waste your time. He's lying. These people are clever. These people? I clenched my jaw but said nothing. Davies' eyes flicked toward her, annoyed. Ma'am, please. Then to me, all right, let's see it. We walked to my car, me between the two officers like some criminal escort, and I unlocked it. Schmidt pulled out the briefcase, set it on the hood, flipped it open. Right on top was a folder. Crestwood Project. Davies scanned the first page, then another. His eyebrows climbed. Thorne Development, LLC. That you? Yes, sir. Sole proprietor. He kept reading. Then he stopped, looked up confused. Wait. This list of addresses, are you saying you own all these? I nodded once. All 12 houses on Maple Lane, including this one. Schmidt blinked. You own? The whole block. That's correct. For a second, nobody spoke. Even the air seemed to pause. Then, from across the street, old Mr. Henderson whispered, Well, I'll be damned. Carol Ann's face drained of color. Her clipboard slipped from her hand. That's not possible. That's illegal. Davies smirked slightly. Actually, it's perfectly legal. Which means... He turned to her. He can't be trespassing. She stammered, but the bylaws... Ma'am Davies cut her off. There is no HOA when one person owns all the properties. You're wasting our time. I should have felt triumphant right then. But honestly, I just felt tired, wrung out. Watching her crumble wasn't satisfying, just sad. Still, I finished it clean. Carol, I said quietly, as sole owner of Crestwood Meadows, I hereby dissolve the HOA. Effective immediately. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Schmidt muttered, Well, that's a first. Davies handed back my papers and gave her a sharp look. Ma'am, you realize filing a false police report is a serious offense, she gasped. I was concerned for the safety of the neighborhood. No, I said, stepping closer, voice steady. You saw a black man in a suit and decided he didn't belong. You used the police as a weapon. That's what this was. The truth hit like a hammer. She couldn't even look at me. Davies sighed, returned my wallet. Sorry for the disturbance, Mr. Thorne. They left. The neighbors retreated indoors, whispering. Carol just stood there deflated, staring at the house that wasn't hers to control anymore. Then, wordlessly, she turned and walked away. That night, I sat inside the same pizza cold but untouched on the table. I should have been celebrating, but all I felt was exhaustion and doubt. For a second, I wondered if I'd gone too far. Maybe I could have handled it differently, maybe I'd humiliated her too much. But then I remembered the look on her face when she called 911, that smug certainty that the world was hers to police. No, some lessons need to sting. Over the next few days, the truth spread fast. The residents found out I was the new owner. I invited them to a simple cookout on the lawn. The flyer said, Let's start fresh burgers, hot dogs, no bylaws. They came one by one. Mr. Henderson brought his famous potato salad. The Millers brought their kids laughing freely for the first time in years. The Chens showed up with homemade dumplings. Everyone had a story about Carol Ann the fines, the threats, the tape measure she used on their lawns. Standing on that same porch, the one I'd almost been arrested on, I told them my plan. No more arbitrary rules. Just one, be a good neighbor. They cheered. I smiled. For the first time, Crestwood actually felt alive. But Carol stayed hidden inside her beige fortress for days. I knew I couldn't just ignore her, she'd fester. So I knocked on her door. She answered in a faded robe, eyes hollow. No clipboard this time. What do you want? She muttered. To talk. Her house was spotless and soulless, everything beige and lifeless. We sat in her stiff living room. She avoided my eyes. Carol. I began this change. It's hard, I know. I don't want enemies. I'm offering to buy your house outright, above market value. Enough for you to find another community, maybe one with rules you'll actually enjoy. She stared at the offer in silence. Her fingers trembled. Why are you doing this? She whispered. Because everyone deserves to live somewhere they belong, I said. And you'll never feel that here. She didn't cry, didn't argue, just nodded slowly. A month later, a moving truck came. She left without looking back. When her car turned the corner, kids on bikes yelled, "She's gone!" Their parents didn't even hush them. The whole block seemed to exhale at once. I stood there watching the sun dip low over the houses I now owned, hearing laughter, smelling barbecues, seeing doors painted colors never approved by any HOA. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And as I finally sat down on that my porch, and took a bite of fresh pizza, one thought crossed my mind. Some people think power comes from control, but real power comes from letting people breathe.